Is Yadier Molina a Hall of Famer? Comment below. But Baseball Reference posted that exact question to X in July of 2024. Viewed over 150,000 times, liked almost 2,000 times, and of the 477 replies, probably 99% of them were some form of yes. And I don't disagree, but if Yadier Molina and his 41.7 career B-WAR is such a sure thing, what about Jason Kendall and his 41.7 career B-WAR?
Oh, this feels like a trap.
Buckle up, baseball fans! Today we take a look at both Baseball Reference and Fangraphs for our backstop comparison. But first, we need to take a closer look at maybe the toughest S.O.B. to ever play this beautiful game, and how he actually got off to one of the best starts to a career by a catcher in MLB history until his bat was robbed from him with one pitch. A man who was hit by the 5th most pitches in MLB history and would get pissed if the umpire ever called time when he was blasted with a foul tip. Unless it was in the nuts, that is. A man who respected the game so much that one time as a rookie, when an umpire let the pitcher start the at-bat while he was still walking up to the plate, he never said a word. He just took the strike, but he never forgot that umpire. Stick around for the rest of that story, it's a doozy. But it wasn't just his toughness, or his grit, or his desire to win no matter the cost that earned Jason Kendall the then richest contract in Pittsburgh Pirates history back in 2000. Nor were those the only reasons Jason Kendall was able to spend 15 years in the bigs playing the same position that his dad played. It was because Jason Kendall was a damn good catcher. But not just that, he was a damn good baseball player. And if not for one particular injury on opening day of the 2001 season, the Hall of Fame wouldn't even be a question, because he might have been one of the best catchers ever. Nowadays, Jason Kendall might be most remembered as an okay defensive catcher who stole some bases and slapped a bunch of singles throughout his 15 professional seasons. And that's about it. And that's sort of fair, if you're just looking at his numbers as a whole. Sure, his Fangraphs career defense is almost 4 times worse than Yadi's. And yes, he never hit more than 14 nukes in a season, and only hit more than 10 nukes 3 times in his 15 seasons. His career on-base percentage of .366 is almost the same as his career slugging percentage of .378, for cripe's sake. But did you know that through his first 5 seasons in the league, Jason Kendall put up one of the best starts to a career by a catcher in baseball history? And not in some obscure way either. Look at the numbers. From his debut, 3rd place Rookie of the Year season in 1996 through the 2000 season, he hit .314 with 720 hits, slugged over .450 with 148 doubles, 45 nukes, 21 triples, he stole 93 bases, had over 1,000 total bases, an OPS over 850, and an OPS plus of 121. All culminating in a B-WAR of 20 over 653 games played. In MLB history, no other catcher had more total hits or singles in their first 5 seasons, with only Connie Mack having more steals and Brian McCann having more doubles in their first 5 seasons than Kendall had in his first 5 seasons. Kendall had a higher OBP and OPS than maybe the greatest catcher ever in Johnny Bench, and had the exact same OPS plus as Bench through Bench's first 5 years in the league. From a B-WAR perspective, only Bench, Mike Piazza, and Thurman Munson were worth more in their first 5 seasons than Jason Kendall. Think of the names that he's in front of: Yogi Berra, Carlton Fisk, Mickey Cochran, Pudge Rodriguez, Buster Posey, and even my personal favorite, Joe Mauer.
Hi, I'm Joe Mauer, and this is the Quick Swing.
And speaking of Mauer, through their first 5 seasons, he and Jason Kendall put up almost the exact same numbers, aside from Kendall's massive advantage in steals. Remind me where Mauer ended up again? Oh, that's right, Cooperstown. And Mauer is not one of only 6 players to catch more than 2,000 career games. Kendall is. So what the heck happened to Kendall? Well, lucky for us, and not so much for him, This is one time where we have a specific incident to point to where the numbers actually actually fit the narrative perfectly. It's opening day 2001. As we just saw, Jason Kendall is coming off of maybe the best 5-year stretch to open a career by a catcher ever, depending on what you're into, and is poised to not only continue this personal success, but do whatever he can to help bring a World Series title back to Pittsburgh. Even if that includes playing the entire season with every ligament in your thumb torn to shreds.
Wait, what?
Yep, in his book Throwback, yeah, he's even a published author, Kendall explains that he actually tore every ligament in his catching thumb after getting crossed up on a pitch in the very first game of the 2001 season. Using the context clues from the book, I even went so far as to find the exact inning that it happened. Bottom of the 7th, on a pitch from reliever Scott Sauerbeck. Unfortunately, footage of that inning is locked away in the depths of MLB's vault, so we can't see it happen. But according to Kendall, he was expecting something soft, low and away from a lefty on the hill late in the game, but instead, he got a cutter in. He couldn't adjust in time, and just like that, he was never the same hitter again. Kendall explained that from that point forward, anytime he tried to really hit the ball with any authority, he'd experience excruciating pain in his hand. He literally had the power robbed from his bat for the last 10 years of his career. But what's even wilder is that the numbers actually line up with this perfectly. This isn't just him saying it. Instead of having surgery and maybe missing the entire 2001 season, Kendall played a career-high 157 games that year. He still managed to hit 10 nukes, but his slugging percentage dipped almost 120 points, his OPS dropped by almost 200 points, and his OPS Plus went from 124 in 2000 to 78 in 2001. He went from being 24% better than the average major leaguer to 22% worse than the average major leaguer from 2000 to 2001. He was barely worth more than a replacement level player that year with the Pirates too, and it was all because he couldn't stand to miss time if he could still play. He did get his thumb finally fixed that offseason too. They just took ligaments from his wrist to fix it, and to this day, Kendall still can't bend his thumb all of the way. But his career numbers make so much more sense with that injury context. After the 2001 season, Kendall never hit more than 6 nukes in a season. He slugged over 400 just one more time, and even slugged under 300 2 different times later in his career. His 80-game stretch in 2000 with the A's, and then his final season with the Royals, where he played in 118 games before finally his arm gave out. Seriously. Jason Kendall got to the point with the Royals where he would have to lift his throwing arm into position with his glove hand because his shoulder was so messed up. And let's face it, power was never his game to begin with, so without really any, his OPS and OPS Plus both suffered as well. From 2001 through his retirement in 2010, Jason Kendall only had 2 more seasons with an OPS Plus higher than 88. He also only had 2 more seasons with an OPS over 700. This is after posting an OPS over 850 and never posting an OPS Plus below 102 in his first 5 seasons. Fangraphs paints the exact same picture too. From 1996 to 2000, Jason Kendall never had a WRC Plus lower than 100, including 3 straight seasons with a WRC Plus of at least 127. From 2001 to 2010 though, only 2 seasons with a WRC Plus higher than 100. His offense went from 24 in 2000 to negative 19 in 2001 and was only positive 2 more times in his career. And all because of a cross-up. But all things considered, Jason Kendall finished with a very solid career. That 41.7 B-WAR is the exact same as Yadier Molina's. So were they really that similar? Remember that umpire from Jason Kendall's rookie season? The one who called a strike on him as he was walking up to the plate? Well, 10 years later, after Kendall had established himself as not just a leader, but one of the more respected players in Major League Baseball, that same umpire tried to stop him from visiting the mound while his reliever got warm in the pen. Kendall knew his pitcher needed time. The umpire tugged on his jersey to pull him back either way. Kendall glared at the umpire and lets him have it. I'll tell you what, you fat f***. You punked me 10 years ago. It ain't going to happen again. F*** you. Get your hand off me. That is the type of competitor that Jason Kendall was. Yadier Molina was also one hell of a competitor. Maybe the best defensive catcher this game has ever seen. He's a 9-time Gold Glove winner and a 4-time Platinum Glove winner. His Fangraphs defense of 373.7 is actually insane, and he joins Kendall as one of only 6 players to catch more than 2,000 career games. But offensively, Yadier Molina and Jason Kendall essentially have the same numbers. The one major difference is that Yadi hit 101 more nukes than Kendall, while Kendall stole over 100 more bases than Yadi. Kendall also didn't drive in as many runs, but otherwise, their numbers are very similar. They finished with almost the same amount of hits and doubles, with almost identical OPS pluses and OPSs. Kendall just got on base more often, while Yadi just slugged a little more. The value numbers show us how different these two really were though. Yadier Molina's value is all from his amazing defense, whereas Jason Kendall provided positive value with his bat, glove, and by not grounding into as many double plays. According to Baseball Reference, these two were worth the same. Fangraphs though, they love Yadi. His F-WAR of 55.6 is almost 20 wins more than Kendall's 36.5, and it all comes from his defense. Remember that defense of 373.7 for Yadi? Jason Kendall posted a defense of 98.6 in his career. Compared to anyone else, that's a solid number. But compared to Yadi,
a worthless pile of shit.
Fangraphs' offense does favor Jason Kendall, however, and by a lot. His negative 6.9 isn't amazing, but it is a whole lot better than Yadi's negative 109.9 offense in his career. Simply put, Fangraphs loves Yadi's defense and weighs it more in their F-WAR calculation, resulting in Yadi coming out way ahead in F-WAR. But, what's the actual point of all of this? Is Jason Kendall a Hall of Famer? No. In fact, he received exactly 2 votes in his only year of eligibility. Is Yadier Molina going to be a Hall of Famer? Probably, and that's with them each having a career B-WAR of 41.7. But that's not the point. Yadi might be the best defensive catcher in baseball history. He's special. He also won 2 World Series rings while Kendall was stuck losing in Pittsburgh. If Yadi gets in, it's 1000% deserving. Jason Kendall may not have been a defensive wizard like Yadi. He may have been robbed of his power on opening day of 2001, but he was special too. Could you catch over 150 games with every ligament in your catching thumb torn to shreds? Jason Kendall did. He was a true one of one. And that's the point. If he didn't get hurt and just played 10 more seasons at the same pace as his first 5, he'd be a Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. Especially considering that he caught so many games. But even with the bad thumb, Jason Kendall played 15 years in the bigs, 16 according to him, and ended up putting up some very unique and historic numbers. I mentioned those hit by pitches, and his games caught. But did you know that Jason Kendall still has the most steals by a catcher in a career in the modern era? He also has the 6th most doubles all time for catchers. He absolutely left his mark on this game. And that is after losing all of his power. For the first 5 years of his career, Jason Kendall was on a Hall of Fame pace. He was arguably more complete than Mike Piazza or Johnny Bench, and was literally better than Carlton Fisk or Yogi Berra from a B-WAR perspective. He was essentially Joe Mauer with speed. But then everything changed. That's gonna do it for today, baseball fans. Thanks so much for watching. Is Yadi a Hall of Famer to you? Let me know down below, and please be sure to subscribe if you haven't. I do appreciate each and every one of you legends. Be sure to check out my other videos if you haven't, and be sure to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. But until next time, baseball fans, cheers!